everyone, so today I've decided that I'm gonna make a really difficult video, something that I'm not really sure if I want to talk about, and I think I won't go into so much detail, but the reason why I'm making this video is because I think it will be beneficial for me. I think I will be able to kind of go past my fear, and also I hope that this video helps anyone who has been in a similar situation as I have, and I hope that this will give me more courage and motivation in the future. What I'm gonna be talking about might be triggering and it might make some of you feel uncomfortable, so obviously you don't have to watch this video if you don't want to. I think some of you might have noticed that I've kind of been off social media. I don't post weekly anymore. I barely post on Instagram. I've just been taking a break. I know the reason why I'm like this, and this is why I'm making this video, so I can finally tell you guys just the reason behind everything, and yeah, just share with you really deep personal things that make me extremely vulnerable. I don't know if I'm mentally ready, but I'm trying to be strong, and just I want to get past this feeling because I've been very stressed, very anxious, and kind of depressed for a while, and I'm really tired of feeling that way. And seeming as I've barely opened up on YouTube, I feel like this is the time where I can finally talk about things that are meaningful. So there's a lot of things that have happened to me in the past, which is very unpleasant and unfortunate, and I'll just start from my childhood and go in chronological order. I haven't written any notes down, I haven't made a script or anything, because I just want to be really honest and open and raw. But yeah, I just hope that any one of you who leaves a comment, just don't give me advice unless you're an actual specialist or a therapist or something, and also if you haven't been in the same situation as me, I think it's better not to give me advice. So I made a post about this on IG before. I told some of you that I've been bullied. Yeah, so in primary school I was bullied. I mean, it might not seem as a big deal to some people, but it was a big deal to me because I just didn't understand why, and I'm always questioning why things happen. But yeah, I was just very insecure, reserved, quiet. I was only loud in front of people who I felt close to, but at school I felt like I couldn't be myself and I couldn't express myself, and I think because of that I was very misunderstood by teachers as well as students. Yeah, there was just a lot of mean, unnecessary things said to me, and I also just felt very lost because obviously you know that I'm Eurasian, I'm mixed. I just had this identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. Sounds so dramatic, but yeah, I felt like I couldn't fit in, basically. That's what I want to say. I couldn't fit in to any kind of group. That was the same in secondary school. I felt like I couldn't fit in, and I tried to make friends, and I had a friendship group in secondary school, but then something went wrong. I don't even know what went wrong. I just couldn't make any friends, basically. It's always been difficult for me to make friends. Well, I think the way I see friends is they are your version of a family. I treated people like they were my sister or really close to me. I cherished friendships. Yeah, I put my heart and trust into a lot of people before, and I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. I was never the type to express myself so much, but I just ended up becoming a very closed person. When it comes to family, this is something that I really struggle to talk about, because whether I like it or not, I don't have a good, pleasant relationship with my family, unfortunately. This is something which is obviously a very big deal. It's made me feel extremely lonely, because it's something that I can't resolve. Up to now, I haven't resolved anything. Not having a good relationship with my parents, especially when I was a teenager, there was this big communication problem. I think they are just not really good at handling teenagers, and there's definitely a special way to talk to teenagers, because that's when we hit puberty and we're finding out about ourselves and we're like slowly becoming an adult. So there's definitely a way to communicate. But yeah, when it comes to discussing about family, I don't want to go into detail, because this is something that I'd rather discuss with a therapist first. But my problems are not normal. I know it's not normal. I felt like it hasn't been normal for like my entire life, and it's not one of those situations where you can just sit down and have like a nice talk about your feelings and emotions and express yourself to your family and hopefully resolve everything. It's like really not like that. I am on speaking terms with them, kind of, not as much as I wish, but that's something that there's like nothing I can do. But yeah, the relationship just got worse and worse and worse, and finally when I was 18 I got kicked out of the house. And you know, everyone's like, oh, you're 18, you're an adult. You're really not. You are still growing, you're still learning about things. The only life that you know is the things that you saw and learned at school, but you don't know anything about the world, people outside and other people and other families and just other situations and issues. You don't know anything about that. So like, that's something that I had to learn quickly to survive. Yeah, so when I was kicked out, I had very nice neighbors who I contacted and they let me stay with them, but obviously I couldn't stay with them for a long time. And during that time I was in a relationship. Yeah, this is the thing that's really like difficult to talk about, but I feel like it's really important to talk about because it happened, and eventually I'm gonna have to, you know, get over it somehow. So during that time, between 18 to 20, I was in a very toxic relationship. He was physically and mentally abusive. I'm able to talk about it now because it has been so many years. It was basically around 10 years ago. But the trauma still lingers, and this is the important thing that I want to discuss in this video. It's about the trauma. But yeah, I'm not going to like talk about this situation a lot in this video because it's gonna take forever. But yeah, I unfortunately went into a really bad relationship. It really messed my life up. The only thing that kept me sane was the fact that I got into uni, and I was going to uni full-time, and I also had 2 jobs which kept me away from him as much as possible. But yeah, I didn't have a social life because that was taken away from me. I was controlled, I was manipulated, just the typical standard things that seems to just happen in every type of abusive relationship. It's crazy how there's an actual pattern, but yeah, every video I've seen and just people that I've spoken to, they all go through the same thing. So yeah, I struggled during that time because I got kicked out of home, and I had to have a job so that I can pay rent and I can do everything. And I was struggling through uni. I felt really depressed and lonely. I felt like no one would understand me, and I also felt like ashamed of even being in this situation. I felt like it was my fault that I got myself into that situation, because if you know, when you're in an abusive relationship, they really make it seem like everything is your fault and you are the reason why the abuse is happening. So yeah, I just felt suffocated. I felt completely lost, and I didn't have any friends. Well, I slowly started to make friends, but it wasn't like enough to get me out of the relationship faster. And also, obviously, it's not a friend's responsibility to do that. It's like the only way for the person to get out of the abusive relationship is like to do it yourself, and that's what I had to end up doing. I had to just tell myself that like I love myself and I should respect myself, and I shouldn't be with someone that treats me like crap, and I have a whole future ahead of me, and what am I doing? Like being miserable. And I want to graduate and I want to get good results, so it's like, am I really gonna let some person mess up my entire life and possibly career and future? No. And I had to be really strong, and I feel like I was so much stronger back then compared to now. I honestly feel like so much weaker mentally now. I don't know why, but I managed to get out of the relationship. And then unfortunately a year after that, another terrible thing happened, which I'm not going to go into detail, but because of this other terrible thing, I ended up having to go to therapy. I went to see a therapist. Luckily it was for free, and it really helped me. Not as much as I wanted it to help, because I should have gone for a longer time, but because it was free, it was only for about a few weeks. There wasn't like many sessions. But yeah, just talking about my feelings, and back then I had like a few tasks that I had to do and complete, and there was even a CD for me to listen to. It really helped me. I also realized that I didn't want to stay in London anymore. I just felt like London was this really toxic place where I don't really have many friends that I can count on. I didn't have a good, strong relationship with my family. I had little trust for people. I was always like on guard and put a wall between me and other people. I felt like, you know what, it's time, like if I really want to like be happier, maybe I just need to leave. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I left London. I left London when I was 24, and I decided to be an international model. I honestly don't even know how I managed to do that, because obviously I felt very insecure when I was in the abusive relationship, and I was told that I was ugly and I couldn't do it, and just all these things that would crush me and just step on me and disrespect me. So yeah, I really had to just change myself, change my mentality, and just really love me and tell myself that like I'm a nice, lovable person, I did nothing wrong, I'm kind, and like good things will come as long as I stay that way. As long as I remain this person that's like truthful to myself, then good things will happen. And you know, I do believe in like good karma, so I think that happened for me. I was able to travel and work, and it improved my situation a lot. Obviously going to Singapore, there was like ups and downs. I managed to fit in and gain experience and boost my confidence. I was also in a different relationship when I was in Singapore, and it was like a normal relationship nothing crazy like the previous ones. So I think that kind of put me in a normal mindset, but there was a lot of things triggering me, a lot of like unresolved issues, and I was still very insecure. I was trying to cover up my insecurity and just act confident, and I think I was very good at not showing that side of me. That, yeah, it was like emotionally draining to pretend to be happy when I wasn't, but somehow I managed. But the only bad thing about that is that I just kept sweeping things under the rug and not actually addressing the situation and sorting it out. Another thing is that my personality just changed, and I wish I was stronger and able to say no and give a reason and fight back, but I'm the type to avoid confrontation and just try and stay away from drama. And when I am in a dramatic situation, I think some people love it, but I start shaking and I get really scared and anxious, and it's like I have all these things that I want to say in my head and I can't say it because I don't even want to be in that situation to begin with. And yeah, I would have an actual panic attack if I'm ever in that kind of situation. It's harder for me because I am a people pleaser. I want to make people like happy and I want people to like me, but like obviously you can't make everyone like you, and that's something that was really hard for me to acknowledge and realize, that not everyone is gonna like you and that's okay. But yeah, I learned a lot, like modeling, traveling. I had a lot of fun. I felt like things were getting a bit better. But then yeah, jumping to 2020, that's obviously when COVID came, and I unfortunately went back to London when it came to London, like around March. I went to London because I was actually planning to get a full-time job. I needed money because obviously for so long I didn't have stable income, and because it was getting so bad in Hong Kong, I thought like, oh, there's like no cases in the UK right now, so why don't I just fly there and try to like get a job and fix up my life in London. And I also felt like I wasn't scared of London anymore because, you know, I traveled and I got a bit stronger and I learned more about myself, so that's why I wasn't scared to go back. But I forgot that things don't just disappear, and I forgot that, yeah, I don't have such a great relationship with my family. So like going back home was mentally straining for me. I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. Everything just ended up creeping back. All the traumas, everything that happened in the past, just things would trigger me easily. I would just get really emotional. I would end up going through this black hole, having nightmares, basically having anxiety, insomnia. I couldn't do anything normal. It was just toxic. Like, I don't want to like admit it, but going home I just ended up in another toxic situation, and then I realized that I just need to get out again. Like, I can't deal with this. And it sucks that I have to keep running away from situations, but I honestly feel like sometimes that's the best. If something is too mentally straining, you need to get out. Especially when you can't get help or you can't get therapy, the best thing to do is like pack up and leave. And I decided that I can't get a job in London, probably because I've also never had a full-time job, so it's even harder for someone like me to you know, I've been chasing my dreams all this time, and like my dream is obviously modeling and acting and being in the entertainment industry. So I've never looked for a full-time job. That's nowhere on my CV. So I think that's another reason why it's like harder for me to just get a job, basically. So in the end, I packed up everything and I moved to Hong Kong, and at this point I was already dating Kurt, and if you have been watching my channel, you know we're married, and I'm like happily married, and honestly this is like the one thing that is the best thing in my life right now. So yeah, I thought that coming back to Hong Kong and just being with Kurt would be the best situation for me, and it was the first year of everything, like getting married and like doing the interviews and then having you guys on YouTube. It honestly, like, I felt like, wow, my life is like getting better and I'm finally becoming stronger and happier with myself. But as things started to change here, and like if you're from Hong Kong, or if you've like read the news, you would know that there's a whole load of restrictions here, and because of that there's like not much that people can do, especially if you're not vaccinated, and I am that 10% who is not vaccinated. I had a medical exemption in the beginning, and then I got COVID, so I was able to get another medical exemption, but that COVID medical exemption was only for like going to the supermarket and going out and stuff, but it didn't apply to the school, and I was working as a kindergarten teacher, and unfortunately I lost my job in June because I'm not vaccinated, and I don't believe that I should be forced just to work, you know, like it should be a choice. And I know that a lot of people are gonna disagree with me because literally like the whole entire world is vaccinated. So I know I'm the minority, and I know to some people it's like, oh, you shouldn't be complaining then, but like personally I feel like no one should be forced to do something that they don't want to do, as long as they're not like affecting other people's lives. And like I'm not going around coughing and spreading COVID. In fact, I got COVID from people who were triple vaccinated. So but anyway, because I lost my job, I have been home all the time, and I had to just wait until my exemption expired. So I was able to do some stuff, like have fun and see some friends and stuff, but I knew that that wasn't gonna last forever. And then the depression just came back, and I lost motivation again. I just tried so hard to be positive and think, well, like, oh, now I have all this time to create content and create videos, and I have time to focus on YouTube. But like the anxiety and the stress of like not having my job, and not having the income that I needed to pay for rent really stressed me out, to the point where I lost all motivation to do anything. I couldn't, like, I felt fine some days, and then other days I was just really sad and depressed. And it's not like the casual depressed, you know, people just use that word so lightly these days, like, oh, I'm so stressed, I'm so depressed, but it's like, no, this was real. I can't sleep, I can't do anything, I even move slowly, I can't be bothered to even like cook anymore. Like I love eating, but like I can't cook for myself. Another thing that obviously makes me like stressed and depressed is my allergies to food. The fact that I can't eat like a normal human being, and I can't go to my favorite restaurants and eat everything there. can't order takeout and stuff because I don't know what's going to be in the food, so I have to cook. It has to be homemade. But yeah, I could go like a whole day without eating because I'd rather just be in bed and watch a drama to try and like distract myself. I started to feel really like guilty and like hate myself. Like, why am I wasting so much time when I should be more productive? But nothing was pushing me. I didn't have the drive to just like pick up my camera and be like, right, I'm gonna do this. And also, I didn't want to be fake. I don't want to smile and act happy and do like videos when I'm not happy. Which is why I'm making this video. I think it's really important to just tell you guys that my life isn't amazing or anything, and I'm really trying and I'm struggling, and hopefully once I just post this and get this out of the way, I can finally start slowly being myself again and build myself again. Right now I'm just gonna take it easy and be kind to myself, focus on YouTube because that's all I have now. But yeah, I think the solution to all of this is for me to go to therapy. I need to try and find one in Hong Kong. If you know a cheap place in Hong Kong, then obviously let me know in the comment section. This video is not in any way like me trying to give advice, because I don't think I can give advice. I need help myself, so I just wanted to share this part of me, this part that I've been struggling with, because recently it's been so difficult for me to do anything, and I'm really having problems sleeping. Like this entire week I haven't slept properly. I have a headache right now because the lack of sleep, and I'm like forcing myself to stay awake so that I can sleep at a more appropriate time. I've just been like dealing with a lot and not being nice to myself and feeling very lonely because I feel like no one understands. And it is difficult, you know, to talk to some people, and because they don't understand you, or they don't know how to deal with someone like you because they haven't come across someone like you before, or they haven't like personally experienced it themselves, they say the wrong things, and it's not their fault. I know they're trying to help, but some people's advice can be very like toxic, like especially like, oh, but the past is the past. Like, yes, the past is the past, and unfortunately it follows you. Unfortunately, trauma doesn't just disappear, you know. Words, people say words don't hurt. They do. They really hurt. It could just go into your brain and not come out, and then you'll remember it when someone else says it, and maybe they didn't mean it in a horrible way, but you take it as a horrible way, and then you end up getting angry at them for no reason. But yeah, I think this video has gone on for way too long, so anyone who finished this video, I want to thank you for watching this, and I'm sorry that it's like so depressing, and I hope this gives you some kind of insight or helps in some kind of way, because it's definitely helped me to open up now. I think that I should stop being so scared. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. If you want to know more stuff in detail, I'll see if I can make a video about it. It might take a while, it depends. I think I need to see a therapist first before I can really talk about stuff as if I'm fine. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!